Have you ever shown someone your edits, waited for their reaction, and they say, "Looks good," and you're sitting there like, that was 20 hours of my week in 15 minutes of a video? That moment right there was my awakening. That's when it really hit me that editors and viewers are living in two completely different realities when it comes to absorbing up entertainment. Their job in the matter is to vibe, watch a cool video, and move on when it's finished. While we're out here fighting with our timelines, solving pacing problems like it's Einstein writing a theory, sinking fully to the moment of 6 pixels, and somehow crafting emotion from chaos. And from how this is going, no, this is not a rant, I promise. I'm going to try to break down how editors think differently, move differently, and see differently. Not better, not worse, just built different when it comes to media. Casual viewers of content watch videos as if it's a straight line, from start to finish, from vibe to vibe. But they're subconsciously thinking, was it cool? Did it make me laugh? Did I feel something? As for editors, we're thinking about the blueprints and style guides that went into the post-production. Like, why did that moment land? What techniques did they use to pull off that build? What would I have done differently? You see, viewers feel the moment while we reverse engineer it. And I'm not just spewing bullshit here, there's actual science that backs this. Back in 1973, Chase and Simon did a study on a group of chess players where they found that grandmasters could look at a real mid-game chessboard for just 5 seconds and recreate the whole thing from memory. But if the pieces were placed randomly, they couldn't do it at all. What that ultimately showed was that they weren't just memorizing the pieces, but recognizing the patterns. Familiar configurations they'd internalized from thousands of games they've played in the past, pretty much reading into the pattern. Now, in my opinion, editing's the same. We don't see a cut, we see the rhythm, setup, and flow, things that would naturally feel invisible to the regular day viewer. That's why, for at least my case as an editor, watching content, I'm never not dissecting the process. One thing I've also noticed as an editor is time moves differently. To a viewer, a scene is just a scene. Like some 10-second long clip, it's got a start, middle, and end, and it feels natural. But to an editor, and I mean, depending on the scene, we might immediately notice that it at least took an hour to get the timing right. Or it might have been stitched together from clips shot hours or even days apart. We don't watch time as linear. Behind the scenes, we're so focused on stretching the footage, closing the gaps, and rearranging it that we feel the pain of other edits. I don't know about you, but for me personally, I love to dissect YouTube videos and mainly movies. Like, for an example, look at the movie 1917. To the viewer, it plays out like one continuous shot, like it's actually a real-time experience. But behind the scenes, it was a precise production of invisible cuts, hidden transitions, and a lot of rehearsed camera movement. As editors, I bet we were all watching that movie with the screen up to our nose, trying to see every transition and cut. I don't know about you, but I was. When a viewer watches a great edit, they don't say, "Wow, that was just a perfectly timed J-cut with 3 layers of sound effects and a perfect motion array transition." They just feel something. And that's it. Depending on the feeling that the editor wanted to deliver, the viewer will feel it. Tension, excitement, nostalgia. That's the only viewer's job. To feel. But for the editor's case, they carefully constructed that moment tailored specifically for what emotion they wanted the viewer to feel. We will plan and cut down the exact same frame, layering sounds for a big build-up, holding on a shot just long enough to let it breathe, or cutting away quick enough to keep energy sharp. I recently made a video about different ways you can control the emotion of your edit using the collection of techniques I call emotional editing. You should go check it out. But overall, let's think of it like building a house. The viewer walks in and they say, "Wow, this feels cozy." And it's the editor who laid the brick, wired the lights, and made sure the whole place didn't fall down. Now, if you're not an editor, I want you to think about the best editing you've seen on YouTube. You can't do it, right? Well, that's the best part of this game. When the pacing flows and the mood hits just right, that right there is the invisible labor that went into that project. Viewers will see the results, while the editors will see the layers. Like when you match eye lines across two completely different shots to make a conversation feel natural in film. Or when a tiny ambient sound bridges two scenes so the cut doesn't happen too suddenly. Or when you move a music cue by 3 frames over and suddenly the entire moment lands emotionally. It's all about impact, and it only happens when you've spent enough time doing the work that nobody sees. Invisible effort results in visible emotion. Have you ever noticed on YouTube how some videos have that little spike in the timeline saying most replayed? When a viewer replays a scene, it's most likely because they felt something from it. They wanted to experience or learn from that moment again. But when an editor replays something back, it's because something feels off, and we can't sleep until we fix it. Now, no, we're not rewatching our edits over and over just to hype ourselves up. At least not every time. We take that time to replay and rebuild it, making the slightest of tweaks. You know, like testing 6 different versions of the same transition just to ultimately decide none of them work. It's obsessive, it's exhausting, and yet it's necessary. And that's kind of the secret with this stuff. You can't create something that just feels right until you've sat with it long enough to understand why it doesn't. One of the editor's most underrated jobs is guiding attention. You're not just chopping footage, but you're guiding the viewer's eyes. You can shape how they feel without a single line of dialogue. Using a reaction shot 2 seconds too early can fall flat, or cut it 2 seconds later and it feels like a punch to the chest. A good editor should never need to present a story like a 6th grader doing a show and tell, but they should steer the story like Houdini controls where the audience looks. Which reminds me, what really happened to that elephant, and why has Houdini been so quiet since? Now, here's the section that nobody's really talking about. Most viewers will never know why a moment hit them so hard. They'll just say, wow, that was cool. But if you strip away the edit, the pacing, timing, build-up, silence, and rhythm, that moment wouldn't exist. Editing isn't just a part of the story, but it's the delivery. It ultimately decides for itself what gets felt, when it should hit, and how long it lingers. Now do me a quick favor. Think about your favorite movie. Think about one specific moment that sticks with you. And it's not because of what was said. It sticks with you because of the cut, the hold, and its timing. And I just figured this out the other day, but that's called feelings.
This is crazy, but I'm having feelings again. Like some kind of 14-year-old kid or something. I mean, you remember feelings, right?
Yeah, I have feelings every single day of my life. Do you?
And the wild thing is, the better you are at editing, the more invisible your impact becomes, but the deeper it will land. That's why editors matters the most to the viewers, because they don't see it. They just feel it. As editors, we see what most people don't. We replay what others forget, and we obsess over frames that no one else notices, all to build something that feels effortless. And that entire process is fucking awesome. I am proud to call myself an editor because the real reward isn't about the numbers or how well the audience appreciated the project, but knowing that they might have felt something from it. Let me know if you guys agree. If not, comment down below. I would love to have a conversation with you about it. And if you made it this far, I really appreciate you for watching the full video. Please subscribe if you want more editing content, and as always, stay safe and don't forget, the rest are just tools.